Peace everyone, Jazz the Medium here. In this video today, I'm going to be talking to you about how I connect to mediumship and hopefully give you a few tips on how you can connect to yours. Before I start talking, I do want to let you know that everybody is different. Everyone does not connect the same. So I'm not here to say that the way I do it is the only right way. Everybody is different. What's most important is, are you accurate? And did you connect? Did you establish a connection? That's the important part. I don't care if you have to hang upside down to get it. Did you establish a connection? So, let's get started. The first thing I do is I find a moment before my reading is scheduled to relax myself. And even if I don't have time and I'm already connected to the person, I always take a quick moment to just take a deep breath, kind of relax myself. I have this place inside of me called this center of peace. So I find my center of peace and I relax myself and I feel calm and I try to clear my thoughts of whatever I was thinking of before. Very important note, if you're doing readings back to back, make sure you schedule time in between readings to kind of release the last reading, release the energy from the last reading, and recenter yourself before you go to the next reading. Don't back to back to back. Just take a moment to clear yourself out. I usually like to take 10 to 15 minutes. For mediumship readings, they're like probably between 15 and 30 minutes. For psychic readings, I could take about 5. You know, if I'm somewhere where I can step outside, all I need is about 4 or 5 minutes. Something about nature and outside kind of recenters me. So everyone's different, whatever way works for you. Now, once I'm relaxed and I'm in front of you speaking to you and you're my sitter, what I'm going to do is either ask myself, like just ask in my mind, or see if I can feel any spirits around me. One great way that I do this is that I utilize spirit guides. So what I do is in my mind, I picture myself in a room. And in this room, I have a spirit guide at the door. I like to call him my bouncer. But that's not his name, of course. I do know his name, by the way. But I station him at the door, and he lets in who's relative and let out who relative. That keeps me from getting overloaded, because if I get overloaded, I get nauseated. I'll feel sick. Or it prevents me from becoming confused about who's around, because I could be trying to read to you. It could be somebody else in your house that I'm picking up on. So I use my spirit guide sometimes to help me focus. Sometimes though, a lot of times, more than one spirit will step through the door at the same time. And it could be something as simple as, if I'm doing group readings, two spirits with similarities to step through. One time I gave a group reading, and 2 young men stepped through, and their moms were sitting next to each other. Both had died in a car accident. Both were like similar ages. It was very similar circumstances. And these moms were sitting next to each other. They both had died in car accidents. So they came through together. Or it could be like 2 grandmothers that come through, and one to be on the mom's side, or one to be on the dad's side, or a mother and son. It's like, it's always a connection that comes through if more than one comes through. But a lot of the times, more than one will come through. Whenever that happens, I usually try to, I work really hard with my spirit guides sometimes, depending on how I'm feeling, to help filter the spirits in and out so I can give clear messages. Okay, that's very important. So I always picture myself like sitting at a table. You know, I'll welcome the spirit like up to the table. It's like, let's sit down and talk. Let's chat over lunch. You know, that'd be my thought. You know, that's where I connect evidence. So when I be collecting evidence, what I'm looking for is things to prove to the sitter that I am indeed talking to their loved one. Providing evidence is extremely important. I can't say this enough. You just can't walk to somebody and say, hey, I got your mama here. This is what she said. How do you know it's my mother? That's what they want to know. How do you know? Give me evidence. So I'm going to get, if I can get names, I'm going to try names, or birthdays or important dates. I'm going to get you maybe what they look like. I'm really good with descriptions of what they look like, maybe what they smell like, you know, how they used to act, personality traits, you know, what they used to do for a living, where they go to church at, maybe name some of your siblings, just anything to show you that I'm speaking to you. Now, it's very important during this stage to also rely on your clairs. So what do you smell? Like, I remember one time I was with a young lady and I was like, I keep smelling vanilla, where her mother loved vanilla scent. She had vanilla air freshener in her car, vanilla candles. She loved vanillas. Or I keep tasting chest pie. Well, this lady's grandmother used to love making chest pie, you know? So relying on your clairs, you know, what do you see? You know, I see a lot of land. I see a small house. I see a farm. You know, what do you hear? You know, one time I gave a reading and I kept hearing the train. I kept hearing train tracks. I kept hearing the train. Where her grandfather worked on the railroad tracks. You know, rely on all your senses, because your subconscious has a way of relaying symbols to you through your senses. Another thing is symbols. Now, there are books of symbols that help psychics, and it's also important to know that symbols are also specific to the individual. So what may be a symbol to me may not be a symbol to you. So it's important to keep a journal of your symbols, especially if you do a reading and you know what they mean. Like, if I'm giving somebody a love reading and I see a set of luggage, in my spirituality, I've learned in my symbols, that means that it's time for you to go. But a luggage can mean traveling to somebody else, which a plane means you traveling. So you see how everyone could be different. So learn your symbols. Start keeping a journal of your symbols too. And that will really help process your readings as well, because a lot of people, you know, we have to piece together all of our senses, what you see, hear, taste, feel, your symbols. So basically when you're talking to a person, you're quickly putting the puzzles together, and it can be a little slow in the beginning, but over time you get faster. But once you do all of that, that's when you give the message. Okay. Now I will say this, as myself as a medium, be mindful of the messages that you give. You know, I'm not telling you to lie. Always be honest, but be mindful of what you're saying and how you say it. I always ask the people that I mentor to assess the emotions of the person that you're talking to, because the way that you deliver the message, they might not be able to handle it. So it is very important that you use compassion when you speak to people, and you give them messages in a loving way. Extremely important. Even if it isn't the best news that they would want to hear, there are certain ways that you can say things and certain ways that you can convey things. As mediums, we have a responsibility to help these people, and you can emotionally destruct through your messages if they're not delivered correctly. I hope this video helps. If you like this video and you would like more videos like these, please hit the like and subscribe button, and share the video on your social media pages. If you would like to connect with me, you can visit my website at www.jazzthemedium.com. You can also shoot me an email at jazzthemedium@gmail.com. Now, I am on all social media platforms: Facebook, IG, Twitter, Instagram. I'm even in Clubhouse. But what I will ask you to do is, if you would like to book, the best way to get me is through my website. Okay, so just book a reading, or you can even email me on my website if you have more questions about my services. I wish you all well. Peace.